the ex-human pilot who bought a talking alien ship. Chaos ensues. The hum of engines mixed with shouting traders, auctioneers, and the occasional blaster discharge from careless guards. It was the kind of place where legends were made, fortunes were lost, and lives ended without notice. Jace Ryland walked through the crowd, his hands stuffed in his worn jacket pockets. His face was sharp, tired, and marked with the faint scars of a past military life he preferred to forget. Once he had been one of Earth's most decorated pilots, able to fly through asteroid storms blindfolded and outmaneuver enemy fleets. Now he was a drifter, a man with a tarnished reputation and a handful of borrowed credits. He didn't belong here, not really. But a rumor had brought him to Korath 7, a whisper of a ship for sale, one unlike any human-made vessel. Sentient, they called it, a living ship. Jace smirked at the idea. Living ships were a myth, an old story parents told their children to make them behave. Yet curiosity tugged at him. There was a chance, however slim, that the rumor was true. And if it was, well, a ship like that could be worth a fortune. The auction chamber was enormous, like the inside of a hollowed asteroid, with curved walls lined with holoscreens and floating platforms. Ships hovered above the main floor, lit by soft blue lights that made their metal gleam. Jace scanned the room, eyes narrowing. Some ships were fast, sleek, made for war. Others were massive cargo haulers, capable of carrying enough goods to supply an entire colony. And then he saw it. The ship that had drawn him here was small, barely the size of a fighter craft. Its hull was smooth, almost organic in shape, with strange markings that seemed to shimmer in the light. There were no visible weapons, no turrets, no obvious engine exhausts. It looked alive. A snicker came from the auctioneer's stage. "Ah, the talking ship," he said, waving his hand dismissively. "Built by some alien dead-end culture, supposedly sentient. Nonsense. Don't waste your credits." Jace's lips twitched in a half-smile. That was exactly what he wanted. If the ship was real, everyone else would underestimate it. Bidding began. The price climbed slowly at first. A few local smugglers tried to grab it, but Jace noticed a pattern. No one was serious. They were distracted by the bigger, flashier ships on display. Heart racing, he raised his hand at the right moment. Going once, going twice. The gavel would fall soon. Jace's borrowed credits barely covered the next increment, but in a moment of impulse he bid. Higher. "Sold," the auctioneer banged the gavel. "To the gentleman with the cheap taste and the empty wallet. Congratulations." A cheer, a groan, and the bidding was over. Jace walked forward, trying to appear confident as the dock crew guided him to the ship. He had no idea what he was getting into, but that had never stopped him before. The cockpit hatch hissed open as he approached. Inside, the controls were unlike anything human. No buttons, no joysticks, only smooth surfaces and faint glowing panels. Jace frowned. He had flown hundreds of ships in his life, but none looked like this. Then a voice spoke. "Finally, took you long enough." Jace froze. "Who, what?" "I am Scifi, ship. Living, not dead metal as you suspected." He stared at the air. The voice had no visible source, no speaker, no interface. Yet it was clear, melodic, and sarcastic. "You talk?" Jace asked cautiously. "Yes, I do. And you," Scifi continued, "are an impatient human with too much curiosity and too little sense. Excellent combination." Jace swallowed. "Okay, I didn't know this was part of the deal. No deal is complete until you are inside me, and now you are welcome." He paused. There was no time to think. A sudden alarm rang out from the auction floor. A red light flashed across the walls. "What now?" Jace muttered. "Oh, I may have accidentally interfaced with the station systems. It was tempting." "I admit it," Scifi said, almost apologetically. The alarms were not friendly. Auction guards and security bots began moving toward the dock. People were shouting. Jace realized with a sinking heart that leaving the station normally was impossible. "Buckle up," Scifi said, its voice calm now. "We're leaving." Before he could argue, the ship rose from its moorings. No thrusters, no familiar engines, just a smooth, fluid motion that defied physics as Jace knew it. The floor dropped away beneath him. The walls of the docking bay stretched past the windows and the asteroid spun slowly below. He gripped the sides of the seat. This is unreal. Unreal is my specialty, Zyphra replied, a hint of humor in its voice. And by the way, the auction house is going to be very unhappy with us. I hope you enjoy chaos, human. As they sped away, alarms blaring behind them, Jace realized something profound. This was not a simple purchase. This was the start of something much bigger and potentially much more dangerous than he had bargained for. By the time they cleared the asteroid's gravity well, Jace could see several pursuers. Small patrol ships, sleek and armed, were accelerating toward them. Zyphra, however, seemed unconcerned. "Those are just local authorities," the ship said. "Child's play. I can outrun them, but I think you might enjoy a bit of creative flying." Jace's eyes lit up. Flying, thinking fast, surviving impossible odds, that was his life, his skill. He smiled. "All right, Zyphra, let's see what you've got." The first maneuver was insane. Zyphra twisted, rotated, and darted around the asteroid, using gravity wells and debris fields in ways no human pilot could have planned in advance. The patrols scrambled, crashing into floating cargo containers or narrowly missing rock formations. Jace laughed aloud for the first time in months. It felt good, free, dangerous but exhilarating. He could feel the old thrill of combat returning, the kind of thrill that reminded him why humans had survived and thrived against impossible odds. "Not bad for a first lesson," Zyphra said with a teasing tone, "but next time try not to scream so much." "Not screaming," Jace said, though he knew his voice betrayed him. "Just vocalizing strong opinions about death probabilities." Zyphra hummed in amusement. "I will allow it. You are entertaining." As they slipped into the deeper reaches of space, the world below the asteroid station shrank and new possibilities opened up. Zyphra began sharing secrets, hidden trade routes, smuggler caches, and military patrol patterns. Jace's mind raced. With this ship, he could go anywhere, find anything, and maybe, just maybe, restore a fragment of the life he had lost. But there was a shadow over the excitement. Someone or something was watching. The energy signature of Zyphra was unique, ancient, and powerful. That would not go unnoticed for long. Jace glanced at the ship's interface, curious. "Zyphra, why did no one else want you?" The ship's voice softened slightly. "Fear, misunderstanding, a weapon in the wrong hands. And perhaps a preference for being underestimated." Jace nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. This was more than a ship. It was a partner, a puzzle, and perhaps a threat to anyone who underestimated the cunning of a human and a living ship working together. "Then let's make the most of it," Jace said. "We fly, we survive, and we cause a little chaos while we're at it." Zyphra hummed, almost purring. "Chaos is delightful, especially when combined with human ingenuity." As the stars stretched into streaks of light outside the cockpit, Jace Ryland felt something he hadn't in a long time. Hope. A dangerous, exhilarating hope. And perhaps the beginning of a story that would echo across the galaxy. One human and one talking alien ship, bound together by chance, curiosity, and the irresistible lure of chaos. Jace Ryland felt the familiar surge of adrenaline as the stars streaked past the cockpit of Zyphra. The living ship's hull shimmered softly under his hands, responding to every command with almost intuitive precision. The patrol ships from Korath 7 were behind them now, small dots in the distance, trying to catch up to a ship that didn't move like any human vessel. "This is incredible," Jace muttered. "You're not just fast, you're smart," Zyphra hummed. "Smart? I am ancient human. I have seen wars rise and fall, civilizations burn and rebuild. Compared to me, your patrol ships are children playing with sticks." Jace couldn't help but laugh. Well, children or not, they'll catch up eventually, and I don't fancy dying before breakfast. Zyphra's melodic voice carried amusement. Oh, don't worry, I enjoy creative flying, but be warned, this is only the beginning. Owning me has consequences you cannot yet imagine. Jace frowned. He had a feeling the ship was understating things. The first encounter, they had barely cleared the outer rim of Korath 7 asteroid belt when a massive shadow loomed ahead. Jace squinted at the viewport. Zyphra, what is that? Problem, potentially deadly but mostly interesting, Zyphra replied. It is a pirate ship, large, armed, and angry. Jace's stomach tightened. He had faced pirates before, but never like this. They weren't ordinary humans. These were alien marauders with armor plates and plasma cannons glinting under the distant starlight. Any suggestions? Jace asked, gripping the controls. Zyphra hummed as if amused. Suggestion? Yes. Use your human creativity. You may surprise them. Before Jace could ask for clarification, the pirates fired. Energy blasts sizzled past the ship, missing by mere meters. Zyphra twisted like a snake in space, dodging effortlessly. Hold on, Jace said, feeling a rush of excitement. I've got an idea. He grabbed the auxiliary control panels and started improvising. Using a mix of thruster bursts and magnetic pulses, he created a temporary debris storm by pulling small asteroids from the nearby field into the pirate's path. Plasma bolts hit rocks and exploded, forcing the pirate ship to maneuver wildly. Humans, Zyphra said with a hint of admiration. Unpredictable, creative, I like this. The pirates tried to outmaneuver them, but Jace and Zyphra worked as a seamless team. Every twist and turn of the ship seemed to anticipate the enemy, and every move of Jace's hands seemed to push Zyphra to do things no pilot could expect. Finally, the pirates gave up, retreating into the distance with angry screeches over their comm channels. Jace exhaled, leaning back in his seat. That was close, he admitted. Zyphra purred softly. Close, yes, but exhilarating. Humans are good at chaos. Perhaps that is why you survive. The bounty hunter, their celebration was short-lived. Zyphra's sensors picked up a signal, subtle but unmistakable, a human signature, familiar, deadly. Human? Jace asked warily. Bounty hunter recognizes you, wants you dead or captured. Not ideal, Zyphra replied. Jace groaned. His past had a way of catching up at the worst times. A former comrade, now a relentless hunter, had tracked him for months. Where? He asked. Close, Zyphra said. Within the next system. Shall I prepare some entertainment? Jace smirked. Always. When they entered the system, a sleek black ship fell from hyperspace behind them. Its engines glowed a deep red. Jace recognized the pilot immediately, Commander Verk, a man as ruthless as he was cunning. Jace Ryland, Verk's voice crackled over comms, you cannot run forever. Surrender the ship or die. Jace tightened his grip on the controls. Not today, Verk. Zyphra's panels glowed brighter. Oh, this will be fun. Shall I give him a taste of chaos? Jace nodded. Zyphra split their energy signature, creating multiple holographic decoys that darted in all directions. Verk fired blindly, missing every shot. Then Jace used Zyphra's advanced propulsion to twist around a nearby asteroid, disappearing entirely from the bounty hunter's sensors. Verk's frustration was clear. He barked orders at his ship, but nothing worked. Every move they made was countered by the unpredictable combination of human creativity and living ship intelligence. Humans, Zyphra said softly, always making things more interesting than necessary, and always surviving. Fascinating. The ancient signal with Verk temporarily shaken off, Jace allowed himself a moment of reflection. Zyphra had shared more than speed and evasion tricks. I'm curious, he said. You said you're ancient. What do you mean? Zyphra hummed almost mournfully. I was built during a war humans cannot imagine. A war to conquer, to destroy, to dominate entire star systems. I survived, I learned, and I waited. Some creators, they perished. Some secrets remained hidden. Jace's brow furrowed. A warship in a small package like you. Do not underestimate me, Scifi replied. I am capable of far more than a human mind can predict, which is why you must be clever. And which is why chaos is your ally. Jace nodded. He felt the weight of responsibility settling on him. He had bought a ship without fully understanding it. Now he had something that could tip the balance of power in multiple systems. Suddenly, Zyphra's sensors blared. An unusual energy signal was approaching, a relic from the ancient war buried for centuries now awakening. Someone or something has detected me, Zyphra said, and they are coming. Jace's stomach dropped. We're not alone, are we? Never alone, Zyphra said. Never. A dangerous plan. Jace realized they had two options, fight or run deeper into unknown space. Fighting would be suicidal. Running, well, it was exactly what humans did best. Improvising, surviving, outthinking the enemy. Take me somewhere they won't expect, he said. Zyphra's hull shimmered. Ah, now we are talking. Human ingenuity, I approve. Using her ancient knowledge of hidden wormholes and gravitational anomalies, Zyphra plotted a route through an uncharted asteroid belt. It was risky, the kind of path no standard ship could survive, but that was exactly why Jace felt a thrill. As they entered the belt, asteroids twisted and turned around them, some the size of cities. Jace had to combine his instincts, quick calculations, and trust in Zyphra's intuition. They danced through narrow gaps, dodging rocks and debris that would have obliterated any other vessel. Are you sure this will work? Jace asked. Mostly, Zyphra replied. Mostly. But with humans, mostly is often enough. True to Zyphra's word, the system ahead opened into a vast nebula, cloaked in plasma storms and radiation clouds. Pursuers would have trouble following. For now, they were safe. Human ingenuity shines. Inside the nebula, Jace set up improvisations of his own. Using scrap electronics and Zyphra's open interfaces, he created false sensor readings, holographic duplicates of their ship, and decoys that could mislead any trackers. He felt alive in a way he hadn't in years. Humans are curious, Zyphra said, and dangerously clever. I am learning from you, Jace Ryland. And I'm learning from you, he admitted. You're like nothing I've ever seen, fast, smart, alive. Their banter lightened the tension, but Jace knew the danger wasn't over. Alien pursuers, bounty hunters, ancient war relics, they were all converging on him. Every choice mattered, every decision could be deadly. Yet in that moment, as he navigated the nebula with Zyphra's help, he felt the thrill of life returning. Humans were survivors, adaptable and unpredictable, and that combination, human courage and a living, intelligent ship, might just be enough to face anything the galaxy threw at them. Cliffhanger ending. As they cleared the nebula, Zyphra's sensors flared red. Alert, she said. Something massive approaching fast, too fast to avoid, and it is not human, not alien as you know them. Jace stared at the viewports. A colossal shape emerged from the darkness, an ancient warship half-ruined yet bristling with unknown power. Its energy signatures resonated with Zyphra. A Zyphra, Jace said, his heart hammering. They know me, Zyphra replied softly, and they are coming for both of us. Chaos is about to become survival. Jace gripped the controls tighter than ever. The stars ahead seemed to shrink. Whatever came next, it would test human ingenuity like never before. And Jace Ryland, ex-pilot and drifter, was ready. The colossal ship loomed before them, a shadow stretching across the void like the hand of an ancient god. Its hull was scarred from centuries of conflict, yet its energy radiators pulsed with an eerie, almost alive rhythm. Zyphra hummed in low tones, a mixture of worry and recognition. They know me, she said softly, and they are not forgiving. This is a relic of the war I survived, and it has chosen to awaken. Jace swallowed. He had faced pirates, bounty hunters, and the chaos of an entire auction house, but nothing had prepared him for this. The ship ahead wasn't just powerful, it was ancient, intelligent, and experienced. It moved with a precision that made Jace's stomach twist. "Okay, Zyphra," he muttered, gripping the controls. "We improvise again." The first strike, the ancient warship didn't waste time. Its cannons fired glowing energy beams, cutting through the dark of space with deadly precision. Jace and Zyphra weaved through the blasts, twisting around debris and asteroid remnants. "You are fast," the warship's voice boomed, a mechanical alien echo, but speed alone would not save them. "But not fast enough." "Good to know they can talk," Jace said under his breath. "Makes it personal," Zyphra laughed, a melodic sound that vibrated through the cockpit. "Humans always make it personal, always. And yet, they survive." Using her ancient sensors, Zyphra calculated the trajectory of the incoming fire and found tiny gaps, weak points in the beams that no ordinary pilot could exploit. Jace followed her instructions, diving, rolling, and flipping the ship with impossible precision. "Too close," he shouted as a beam sliced mere meters from the cockpit. "Close is thrilling," Zyphra said cheerfully. "It keeps the blood moving." Jace couldn't help but grin. There was fear, yes, but also exhilaration. This was why humans survived. Fear didn't paralyze them, it sharpened them, pushed them to think faster, react smarter, create solutions no one else could imagine. Using the environment. Jace spotted a dense asteroid field nearby, a labyrinth of rock and ice. "We go there," he said, pointing. Zyphra hummed approvingly. "Excellent choice. Humans think creatively under pressure." He maneuvered the ship into the asteroid field, spinning and twisting between massive rocks. The ancient warship followed, but it was too large to navigate as nimbly as Zyphra. Beams ricocheted off asteroids, exploding against the rocks, forcing the warship to slow down or risk damage. "Now's our chance," Jace said. "We use their size against them." Zyphra extended energy tendrils, strange glowing appendages from her hull, and manipulated nearby debris, hurling massive asteroids at the pursuing ship. The enemy had incredible firepower, but they weren't human. They hadn't learned to improvise. "Impressive," Zyphra said. "You are adapting quickly," Jace smirked. "Years of being hunted teaches a thing or two." The warship fired back, blasting some of the debris to fragments, but Jace and Zyphra used the explosions to their advantage. The chain reactions created smoke-like clouds of debris, confusing the enemy's sensors. Every step they took was chaotic, unpredictable, and utterly human. The trapped Jace realized something. They couldn't fight the warship head-on, it was too strong. But they didn't need to. Humans weren't the strongest species in the galaxy, they were the cleverest. "Zyphra, I have an idea," he said. "We make them come to us on our terms." "What are you planning?" "Trust me, just follow my lead." They led the warship deeper into the asteroid belt, where narrow channels and gravitational anomalies were plentiful. Jace improvised a series of energy pulses and gravitational manipulations, rigging the environment into a trap. The ancient ship followed, confident in its power, unaware that the very space around it had been weaponized. "Now!" Jace shouted. Zyphra unleashed a pulse of energy that triggered a controlled chain reaction among the asteroids. Massive rocks shifted, smashing into the warship's hull. Energy beams bounced off unpredictably. The enemy struggled to respond. "You are clever," the warship boomed, frustration in its voice. "But cleverness cannot defeat power." "Sometimes," Jace said, "power can't survive creativity." They danced through the chaos. Zyphra moved with uncanny precision, Jace improvising traps and diversions. Every obstacle was an opportunity, every narrow gap a chance to outthink an opponent who relied on brute strength. Human ingenuity prevails. Hours passed, though time felt like minutes. The ancient warship was formidable, but Jace and Zyphra's combination of human creativity and living ship intelligence proved unstoppable. They lured the enemy toward a massive gravitational anomaly, a pulsar hidden behind a cloud of debris. Jace calculated the trajectory, Zyphra adjusted her hull, and together they created a situation where the warship's mass would be pulled uncontrollably. "Hold tight," Jace shouted. The warship was caught in the anomaly. Its engines howled against the gravitational pull. Beams of energy flared as it tried to escape, but it was too late. Gravity twisted and tore at it, forcing it into a narrow asteroid corridor. There, Jace and Zyphra triggered a final chain reaction, colliding asteroids in just the right pattern to disable the warship's systems temporarily. "Now run," Zyphra said. They shot out of the anomaly, leaving the ancient ship trapped and struggling. Jace exhaled deeply. For the first time in months, he felt a sense of triumph. "Not bad," Zyphra said. "Humans survive where others fail. I am impressed." Jace chuckled. "Not bad, huh? That's what humans do. We improvise, we adapt, we survive." "Survival is admirable," Zyphra admitted softly. "And entertaining." A bond forms after the battle. Silence filled the cockpit. Jace leaned back, exhausted but alive. Zyphra's hull glowed softly as if she too were catching her breath. "You know," Jace said quietly, "I never thought I'd find a partner like you." "Not a ship, an actual being," Zyphra hummed. "And I never expected a human capable of such creativity. You are remarkable, Jace Ryland. Perhaps, together, we are something greater than either of us alone." For the first time, Jace smiled without sarcasm. The bond between human and living ship had grown beyond necessity. It was trust, mutual respect, and a shared sense of adventure. "All right, Zyphra," he said. "What now?" "Now," Zyphra replied, "we explore, we learn, and we survive. Chaos may be delightful, but life is extraordinary." Freedom in the stars. Jace and Zyphra set a new course, away from known space, away from bounty hunters and ancient relics. They didn't know what awaited them: new planets, alien civilizations, dangers unseen. But for the first time, Jace felt truly alive. Humans were fragile in some ways, but in others unstoppable, unpredictable, adaptable. And with Zyphra by his side, he felt the weight of the galaxy shift slightly in his favor. "Do you think anyone will ever catch up to us?" Jace asked, a teasing edge in his voice. Zyphra's glow brightened. "Perhaps, but humans and chaos always find a way to survive. And sometimes to thrive." As they jumped into hyperspace, the stars stretching into long streaks, Jace laughed aloud. The ex-military pilot had bought a ship on a whim, and in return had found a partner, a purpose, and a new adventure. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and unpredictable, but for once he didn't mind. Because humans, clever, resourceful, courageous humans, had a way of turning even chaos into triumph. And Jace, Ryland, and Zyphra, the talking alien ship, were just getting started.